Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. So in this video, I will give you some tips to pass your IELTS exam. Tip number 1. Set clear goals. The first thing you need to do is to set very clear goals from the beginning. And a great way to do that is to identify where you're at right now and then identify what is your score goal. So for example, if your goal is to score at least 7 or 8 in your IELTS exam, make that your primary goal and then work towards it. Now once you have your goal in mind, you need to find ways to get there. Now you might be thinking, how can you identify where you're at right now? A great way to do that is through mock tests. You can find a bunch of mock tests online for free and you can take them whenever you want. So I advise you to take a couple of mock tests and then see what is your current score. That will give you an idea of where you stand right now and also give you a brief overview of things that you need to improve. From there, you can make a list of things that you want to improve and then work on them on a daily basis to improve your IELTS score. It will also give you a real feel for the real test because the mock tests are pretty close to the actual deal. So mock tests are a great practice for you and they are absolutely free. You can just look them up on Google and you should definitely take them. Tip number 2 is understand the test. Understanding the test is a very important tip and a very important part of the IELTS preparation because the IELTS exam consists of various types of questions. Even native speakers must do this because the questions are of various types and not all questions are the same. For example, look at this question, which is a true, false or not given statement and you have 4 options. Do you immediately understand what to do here? Clearly, if someone sees this for the first time, he will have no idea how to actually read this test and how to choose the right option. Or for example, take a look at this one, where you have to choose appropriate answers out of A, B, C or D. Now these are just examples to show you that the IELTS test is not a normal casual test. It has very specific type of questions and you need to understand the test completely before giving your test. A great way to understand the test properly is through practice questions. You can use online practice questions just like online free mock tests to help you get there. These practice questions will help you understand the different types of questions that the IELTS test has and you will also be able to see the patterns that the different types of questions use. These are also a great source of practice and preparation for the IELTS test in general and you should do them as much as possible in order to properly understand the questions and the IELTS test in general. Tip number 3 is get help. This is very important because in IELTS you should find other people, other students that are preparing for the IELTS exam and connect with them as much as possible. This will help you not only clear your confusions but it will also help other students get answers from you. So you can share knowledge with one another and help each other out. You should also get help from IELTS teachers that you know or you find online. You should try to learn as much as possible from others, whether it be other students or other teachers. And don't be shy to ask for help online. There are plenty of different groups and communities for students just like you. So just look them up online and try to find communities that can help you. Tip number 4 is build good habits. By this, I specifically mean building a good habit of reading and listening. The IELTS test is an advanced English test and for this you need advanced level of English which requires a lot of practice and especially practice in reading and listening high quality and advanced English. So you should try to build a habit of reading and listening English every single day for at least 10 minutes each. So you should spend 10 minutes reading and 10 minutes listening to anything in English. You can listen to podcasts, English lessons or anything else in English. Secondly, you should also try to use English regularly on a daily basis, whether it be in the form of practice with other students or just in general with yourself as practice. You should use sophisticated English vocabulary and grammar to speak English in your daily life in order to actually make the practice useful. And lastly, you should practice using various forms. So you should practice by reading, writing and listening to English as much as possible. Tip number 5 is meaningful grammar and vocabulary. You should focus on meaningful grammar and vocabulary only. Using sophisticated grammar is very important for IELTS preparation. As I mentioned previously, the IELTS test is an advanced English test and it requires sophisticated grammar and vocabulary. You should try to avoid basic vocabulary and use better vocabulary as much as possible. For example, here's a sentence. If people want to live longer lives, they should look at their lifestyle, including their diets, exercise habits, and sleep to see if any modifications are needed. Now this sentence has a clear cause and effect structure. If people want this, they should do this. But this same sentence can also be written in this form. Some people want to live longer, they should change their lifestyle, they should look at their diet, exercise, habits, and sleep. As you can see, the same sort of information is conveyed in the second sentence as well. But the first one is more sophisticated and better. Now a third way to convey the exact same information would be those wishing to live longer should take stock of their habits including diet, exercise and sleep and make adjustments where needed. Now this is the best way to convey this information if you want to prepare for IELTS. The other sentences are not wrong, but this one is way more sophisticated because there is a lot less repetition and the sentence flows much more nicely. So this was just an example to show you how you can focus on meaningful grammar and vocabulary. You should use sophisticated grammar and vocabulary as much as possible, and a great way to get there is by reading as much as possible, because the more you read, the more you will be able to spot these things and make use of them. Tip number 6. Learning from mistakes. Don't be let down by your own mistakes or other people's mistakes. Try to turn them into a learning lesson. For example, if you take a mock test and your score is terrible, don't lose hope. Instead, look at what things you can improve to get a better score next time. By consistent practice, you can get your score a lot higher very quickly. If you make a mistake, you should find the reason for the mistake and try to work on the reason. And lastly, get feedback, because you cannot spot your own mistakes properly without proper feedback, which is why I recommend to connect with others so that you can get actual genuine feedback that will help you improve your own English skills. Tip number 7. Improve grammatical accuracy. Now, improving grammatical accuracy is quite a challenge because it takes a lot of time and is only possible through a lot of practice. But it is all worth it because grammatical accuracy is one of the most important things past IELTS. So you should also work on grammatical accuracy and using sophisticated grammar on a daily basis. As I mentioned previously, a great way to do this is by reading sophisticated English and then practicing with others trying to use the same sort of English. Tip number 8. Get deliberate practice. You should practice with a goal in mind. That is why I mentioned in the start of the video that the first thing to do is to set a clear goal in your mind. When you have a goal, you will practice on a regular basis to improve bit by bit and to get to your goal. And lastly, be consistent with your practice. Whether it be just 10 minutes a day, try to be consistent and do it every single day. That is the only way to improve for IELTS, and that is the only way to get better with these advanced English skills. Tip number 9. Sleep well. With all this sort of preparation, you should also keep in mind that rest is very important and you should not neglect your sleep at all. Your sleep is just as important as all the preparation tips that I gave you earlier. And sleep also helps with everything. It helps with your mood, it helps with your memory, it helps with your creativity, your ability to learn, everything. So try to get a well night's sleep every single night. And the last tip is stay positive. I know the IELTS test can be a bit intimidating, especially for students who don't have much experience in English. But you don't need to worry too much. All you have to do is recognize where you're at right now, then set a clear goal in your mind and try to work towards it bit by bit every single day. You need to stay consistent with your practice and trust the process for your improvement. I know it can be a challenge at the beginning, but eventually you will get there. And lastly, good luck with your test. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll try my best to answer you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.